Tempo Bakers. I get asked a lot what are my favorite desserts, and I have a few of them for sure, but my all-time favorite desserts are definitely ones that my mum used to make when I was growing up in Ireland. Things like apple tart, Eve's pudding, pavlova, and of course rice pudding. She used to make it on winter's nights when it was really dark and cold outside, and it just reminds me of such a lovely time growing up in Ireland. So I'm going to show you how you can make this quite humble dessert right now, and it's super easy but really, really satisfying. So we're going to start out with our rice. Now, Kevin, let me just say to you now that Kevin is behind the camera here again.
Hey guys.
And Georgie is actually just fallen asleep over in the corner, so we're going to keep our voices down.
I think he's gotten used to our voices at this stage.
He just woke up. So our footage is a little bit different right now. We're shooting on iPhones because we're still in quarantine. So we're doing this kind of like nice and quick, which is really great because it's an easy recipe.
Also, we have a new behind the scenes camera here. You'll have to let us know if you like it, but you can see a little bit more of what's going on.
Yep, there you go. Okay, let's talk rice, Kevin. So rice for rice pudding. There is no like legit rice that you need. You need a starchy rice. So you've got a few options. You have arborio rice. You have pudding rice, which they sell in Ireland, and you have like maybe even a sushi rice, like all starchy short grained rices. Those will all work great. What I use, which I really love, and we have this all the time in our house, is Calrose rice. Now Calrose is another short grain, starchy rice, like that. See that, Kevin? What I love about it is that we eat a lot of curries and kind of have stir fries and stuff like that. So we use this a lot and it works really well because it soaks up stuff. But it's much cheaper than arborio rice. So I get a big bag and we have it for a very long time. So I love this for rice pudding. But you can, like I said, you can use any kind of starchy rice you have. So here is our nice big pot. A heavy bottom saucepan for this because we're going to be simmering milk and cream for a little bit, so you want to make sure that it's a good quality saucepan. In case I didn't say it already, Kevin, the recipe is on bigreporterbaking.com.
That's right, go check it out.
So here is our rice.
After the video.
You don't need a huge amount of rice to feed a lot of people. I think that's one of the beauties of this recipe is that it's kind of, I think probably came as a peasant's dish, where it was a few pantry staples cooked together to make like a really simple, modest dessert. I absolutely adore it.
Jen, what's up next?
Up next is some cinnamon. Just putting a little pinch of cinnamon, not a huge amount of cinnamon because I know it's not everybody's favorite, but we're only putting a small amount in there. A little bit of sugar. We're gonna put in some vanilla extract, super important in this recipe. I adore vanilla extract. If you don't have it, you can always leave it out, but honestly, it really does make the world of difference. Now, Kevin, I'm just gonna grab the milk.
Sounds good. Oh, look at our messy fridge.
Don't look at our messy fridge. So into this, we're going to add a few cups of milk. Now this takes quite a good bit of liquid because it looks like a small bit of rice, but it's gonna make a big pot.
Jen, let me ask you, what if you are dairy-free?
If you're dairy-free, you can use any kind of a dairy-free milk that's your preference. That's totally fine. And you know, you can make it vegan because actually, well, you know, we're gonna put butter in it. Well, you can use the vegan butter.
There we go.
We are, however, going to use cream. So I used like full fat cream, or sorry, excuse me, I used full fat milk. Use something that's just not like fat-free because that won't taste good. Into this, we're going to add in, this is kind of my secret weapon when it comes to my creamiest rice pudding, and that is cream, in case you couldn't have guessed it. So now if you don't have cream or maybe you don't want to use cream, you can just use all milk and that's totally fine. But honestly, that bit of cream in there just like sends it over the edge. So that's cream.
A little sneak shot of Georgie from the hospital.
There's Georgie, only a few days old, and now he's like a teenager over in the corner.
I don't think so. Well, he might be sleeping like a teenager. Sleeping a lot. All right, Jim, do I see the magic gold package
Sure
here?
do. Kerrygold, my absolute favorite. So I love that you can get Kerrygold all over the world. I get emails from people even in Africa who can get it. So it's really awesome. So if you're lucky enough to have Kerrygold, throw that in there. This makes it just, I mean, it just adds to the creaminess and the deliciousness. And also Kerrygold has a nice bit of salt in it.
But then you can use regular butter.
Yeah, use regular butter.
Great. Or like you said,
or vegan butter. Yeah. So come on over here to me now, Kevin. So I have it on like medium, low heat, and all you want to do is let this come to a simmer. Now I've seen in some recipes for rice pudding the word boil, and I don't like that word when it comes to baking, because we really don't want anything to boil. You don't want to have your cream and your milk boiling away here for 40 minutes. You want it to simmer, a nice controlled simmer. So medium, low, nice controlled simmer, few bubbles, and that's perfect. What we're going to do is just wait until it comes to a simmer, and then we're going to turn it down a little bit. So there's two things that make this really special. First off, it's the recipe. It is the rice that I use. We add in butter and cream, a little bit of like the spices and all those things all working together, just really make it so delicious. But number two is actually the cooking. So usually when you cook traditional rice, you are supposed to cook off all of the liquid, right? Well, that's not what we do here. We have loads of liquid in here, so our rice is going to get cooked nice and fluffy and plump, and we're going to be left with extra sauce, and that's exactly what we want, because when rice cools down, it absorbs liquid, so we have to factor that in as well. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, but we want it to be nice and saucy at the end.
All right, Jen, let me ask you something. Are you a hot or cold rice pudding person?
Kevin. Okay, so, well, let me just say, for 20 something years of my life, I didn't know that people ate rice pudding cold, which is just an absolute shock to me. In Ireland, you would always have it hot. Hot, with like jam on top or something tasty like that. You would never, ever have rice pudding cold. However, since I met Kevin, I learned that people eat rice pudding cold, and actually in America they very rarely have it hot, which just blows my mind, because
and
it's absolutely
delicious.
I'm sure it is, and I'm not going to hate on your cold rice pudding, but hot is where it's at.
Well, you should ask people out there.
Hot's the way to go. Are you a hot or a cold rice pudding person?
There we go.
So what we're going to do is give us a little bit of a stir, just as it's coming up to a simmer, because you don't want the rice to stick to the bottom of the pot. So not only is this made with pantry staples, but it's also a really inexpensive dessert to make. There we go, almost to a simmer now, Kevin. George keeps on waking himself up. He's like asleep for a second, then he goes like this. Okay, so it's about to come to a simmer. I'm going to turn it down to medium-low. Like I said, a controlled simmer. We don't want it boiling. Pop on your lid and let it cook away very gently there for around 35 minutes or so. It's going to, the rice is going to plump up, it's going to get nice and cooked, and it's going to get lovely and saucy. So we're going to come back and check on that. And every few minutes, if you want to, just give it a bit of a stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. So it's been around 35 minutes or so. Let's have a little look. Look at this. Beautiful. You see the way how it's still nice and saucy? You want all of that. You don't want that to evaporate. You want to stop your pudding at this stage. Like I said, when rice sits, it soaks up extra liquid. So you want to factor that in. We still want to have this saucy. So we're going to stop it right here. It looks fantastic. The rice is nice and fluffy. I can feel it. So now, my favorite part, we're going to serve some up and have a taste. And of course, Kevin, I'm serving it hot.
That's right. I'll cool it down for later.
What I traditionally would have my rice pudding with is a big dollop of jam. So I'm going to put some raspberry jam on the top. This is my idea of comfort food. I adore it. And best of all, it transports me right back to Ireland when I was young and my mum used to make it for me. So I really hope you guys try this recipe and make your own memories. And I'll see you back here really soon. Oh, it's delicious.